with your co-hosts, Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, and Alan Tomasella. That's right. I'm Mark Davis. This is All About the Balls podcast, and we are live in the Sack House coming off Easter weekend. That's right. I'm joined alongside Chris Meinhardt and Alan Tomasella, and we're here to just pretty much give you a preview of the NFL draft because, boys and gals out there, we are less than a month away. We are 23 days exactly away from the 2024 NFL draft. And with that being said, before we get into it, Chris, how are you doing tonight? And more importantly, how was your Easter weekend?
Yeah, what's up, brothers? Easter weekend was pretty good. Just went to the zoo on Saturday with the family, stayed at home with the kids on Sunday, did a little Easter egg hunt, Got to play Easter Bunny, always a fun time.
Oh,
Easter Bunny's real. Yep. Easter Bunny's real. Sorry about that, brother.
Alan, how have you been? I know it's been a couple weeks. You were training out there, and more importantly, how was Easter weekend?
Yeah, man. It's my first week back, so I'm just like I'm ready to get back to normal for a little bit, but I'm getting ready for this deployment coming up too. So like I'm gonna be in and out over the next couple of months, and then I'm out of here. But the Easter weekend was fun. I had to work. I actually had to work on Easter, which was not holiday for my company, but it's cool. I still got Sunday pay. Other than that, not much going on. Trying to catch up with sports right now.
Yeah, I mean, baseball and according to Luke, hockey's still out there. He watches it. Yeah, Easter week was great. The drive to Florida sucked. For some reason, Florida just sucked in general when it came to the driving. And on the way back, it was horrible in Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. Like I sat in South Carolina traffic going 10 miles per hour for like 30, 40 minutes. And it was like the back end of my.
I bet if you asked Luke for some tips on the way home, he would have helped you out.
He's a professional when it comes to doing road trips, especially on I-75, whatnot.
Yep, he knows about those Georgia cops.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna lie. He's not wrong. Those Georgia cops are assholes. I'll give him that one. Virginia cops too. But no, it's great to be back in here. I've been itching for it. I know we were gonna try and do this last night, but I kind of screwed that up, and here we are. But before we jump into it, anyone that's listening out there, like I said, like I always say, the ticker down there, Twitter and IG at the Sack House. You can also look All About the Balls podcast in. At TikTok, same thing, at @the_Sack House, All About the Balls podcast. And then we are also going to be posting this on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all the good stuff. If you don't want to see our ugly faces and you just want to hear our beautiful voices, we have sometimes are called radio faces. So just listen to us on there as well. So support us there. And if you're listening right now live, comment on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We will be interacting with you guys. Same thing with the draft watch along, which is April 25th, 2024. We'll be live the whole time, starting about 10 to 15 minutes early, and then also doing a live episode for our mock draft episode when we give our only official mock. And we're going to have all six of us the first time in the Sack House. We'll have six members in there.
It's going to be a full sack.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Curtis? I miss you and Hobby out there. Yeah, just keep watching this stuff, man. You guys are going to like it. Hobby, he's a Patriots fan like you, Alan. And we're going to be talking about Patriots tonight. That's on my note sheet here. I want to talk a little Patriots. And I believe Curtis is a Colts fan, but let's jump into it. I think no better way to start this, draft speculation episode, draft rumors, with the quarterbacks. Because Michael Penix Jr., he made a name or made more buzz for his name at his pro day, ran a 4.55 or 40-yard dash, and he's potentially now a quarterback that can get in the first round. That's the question for you boys Jets fan, Curtis, Jets fan, my bad. But the question is, how many quarterbacks are we going to get? There's 4 is what is the lock, it seems like. But are we going to get 5 with Bo Nix? Are we going to get 6 with Michael Penix Jr.? So that's the question is, where do we see these quarterbacks going, and how many are we going to get in the first 32 picks?
I mean, I think the big thing is going to see where J.J. McCarthy goes. I mean, if somebody trades up for him and steals J.J. from, let's say, Denver or somebody, then I say Denver might snag a quarterback like Bo Nix. I know Sean Payton and Bo Nix already have a little connection going, linked together. So, I mean, we could see potentially 4 or 5 in the first round.
Yeah, I think it's going to land at 4 in the first round. I think whatever shakes out over the top, like maybe top 10, you're going to see where those quarterbacks are going to stop getting picked, and it's going to start going into your skill players. It's going to start going into your beef eaters, man, the big old offensive linemen, defensive linemen. I think defense is going to be late in the first round. I think it's going to be heavy offense at the beginning. But I think it's really going to be maybe like 4 quarterbacks in the top, maybe 6, maybe 7, just depends. And then, who trades up. The crazy part is, man, JJ McCarthy is the wild card there. Is like nobody knows where he's going to go, because everything that I've listened to today, that I've heard so far, is like they're talking about he could go to the Patriots now. And it's like I don't like that pick. I don't think that's a great pick, but they're talking about how he was the best quarterback that played in Michigan, trying to make a shot at Tom Brady or something. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like, well, collegiate wise,
That's what they said.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not wrong, because Michigan, no offense, it's not a knock at Tom Brady. He wasn't a great college quarterback. I mean, yeah, obviously professional is one thing, but yes, best collegiate there. But Michigan's not known for quarterbacks in their
but there's so much uncertainty with McCarthy, man. The Vikings love him. Do the Vikings move up? Does he get to 6 and the Giants say, "Hey, we love Daniel Jones." The ownership loves Daniel Jones, but Brian Daboll's like, "Listen, you got to give me a guy that I can actually do something with," and maybe they make that move. I personally think what's going to happen is that the Giants are going to go wide receiver, because they really need weapons. But I still think you're going to get these quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks in the top, maybe 8, and then from there it's gonna break down an offensive lineman, some defensive players. I don't think we're going to see 5 in the first round.
Well, I agree with you with. Well, I was going to say, I agree with you with the top. Like, it's going to be offensive heavy first round in general. I think that's my bold prediction. I know we're going to do it later on, but I'll tease it now. I think I have 22 at least of the 32 picks in the first round being offensive players, between the quarterback, wide receiver is going to be, I think, deep. It's going to probably get you 6 to 8 position players there, and you're going to probably get. I mean, I was looking at today, you can get 10 offensive linemen in the first round, just offensive linemen alone. Now, I think we're going to get 5 quarterbacks. I think that Bo Nix is going to be at the Broncos if JJ doesn't fall there. I think because Denver doesn't have a pick until the 3rd round, they're stuck. They have to go quarterback. Unless 5 goes in front of them and they don't want Penix, that's understandable. But I think we get 5 QBs. I think we can get that 6th quarterback with Penix, because you want to control. A lot of times you want to control a 5th-year option. That's the thing. Do the Raiders, maybe the Patriots, do they trade all? They trade back with the Vikings. I know we're going to talk about them in a minute, but do they trade back with the Vikings? And then they skip quarterback with picks 11 and 23, and then they trade up maybe to 29 or 30 or 31 and get Michael Penix just to get that 5th-year option. Those are possibilities for the Patriots to do, or any other team, honestly. But I just think that the Raiders are a sneaky team with quarterback as well. With O'Connell, you don't know what they're gonna do there. I know they did bring in Minshew Mania, but he's not your long-term solution for the Raiders. So I think we get 5, and I think the order is my opinion is going to go Williams, Daniels, May, McCarthy, and then wherever Bo Nix goes in that first round. I have Bo Nix as a first-round quarterback just because Denver has no choice.
Yeah, there's I think it was like minus 200 that the first 4 picks are going to be quarterback. Well, the top 5 is going to be 4 quarterbacks and 1 wide receiver. Like, I mean, it's pretty crazy how crazy the stat is right now on who's going to go where.
And it's not even that, too, Alan and Chris. I know Chris is a Neighbors fan, but there's a lot of rumors now that Oduze's passing Neighbors as potentially as wide receiver 2. Neighbors is passing Marvin Harrison as receiver 1. So it's who's truly. I mean, we all think Marvin Harrison should be the first receiver. I mean, Chris kind of begs to differ because of the stats say otherwise. Both their last 2 seasons, but. Is Marvin Harrison even guaranteed the first receiving slot? I mean, that's another. I mean, that's the draft. It's all the wildness. You don't know. I mean, was it Jared Jeudy a few years ago? He was the first receiver taken off the board. So I mean, and he wasn't supposed to be. But I mean,
that was going to be my bold take. Was that I think Malik Neighbors is going to be the first wide receiver off the board. I think Malik had a great pro day at LSU. I mean, a 4.35 on his 40. He's big, he's physical, he's also fast. And, I mean, he showed it. I think he's going to surpass Marvin Harrison.
I mean, it's just the card and like what was it? Alan was saying that with the Patriots, what are they going to do? What are the Cardinals going to do? What happens if the Patriots don't trade down and they go a receiver? What do the Cardinals have a bunch of picks. They have 6 in the top 3 rounds.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, we know for a fact that the Vikings are trading up. I mean, there's no reason that they'd go out and deal with Houston to try to secure that second first round pick. I'm projecting right now Vikings are trading up with the Cardinals, and they're going to secure JJ with that 4th pick.
But what happens if New England wants to move off and they don't want Drake May if he's there, and the Vikings go for Drake May?
I mean, the Vikings are going to take one of those 4 quarterbacks.
Because the Vikings didn't send any offensive personnel or the GM to JJ's pro day. It was only a defensive lineman, like a coach. So no offensive mind went there to see JJ.
Yeah, but I think that's because they already have communication with them.
I mean, that could be it too. Yeah,
I really think that they're dead set on him. I think they move up and get him. And there's a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there. I know you don't agree with it, but there's a lot of people out there saying that Drake May is going. That the belief is that Drake May is going to the Cardinals. To the Commanders. There's also the insiders that
Bill Yates
have said that the new owners of the Commanders want JJ McCarthy too. So JJ McCarthy,
I've seen that one. Yeah, that one.
Again, we don't know where he's gonna go. I think there's a lot of uncertainty there. I think the Patriots are going to take all 10 minutes. They're going to field any offers that they can get and try to take draft capital if Jaden Daniels isn't there. But I think they're pretty dead set on Jaden Daniels because to me, Drake May has all of the talent of, let's say, Justin Herbert and Josh Allen as far as his build goes. Like their build is identical, but I don't know if he has the intangibles or the things that make those guys able to do it in the NFL. And I don't think the Patriots have the weapons to make Drake May into that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely
and that's
don't
the
have
problem. The Patriots should really, if the Patriots draft a quarterback right now, it starts the clock with this new regime. You've got to try to start winning. Maybe you've got a year because you're going to say you're going to bench him, whatever. But just me being a Patriots guy, I'm just looking at that. I'm just saying maybe it is time to start fielding some offers, get as much talent as possible.
I mean, well, our buddy Zach Rizlov, who's going to probably be on during the draft, he thinks that Drake May is going to be the best quarterback. And he would love for the Vikings to trade up for a Drake May. He does not want JJ. And JJ's, like you said, is a question mark because they didn't ask him to do a whole lot in college. Now, he did what they asked him to do. And if you look at his adjusted completion percentage based on like the drops and the throwaways and the spikes and all that, he was a very good, accurate quarterback. And adjusted completion percentage is a good stat to look at. I know it's not the overall because you have to account for receivers having bonehead plays and throwaways and whatnot when you're on the run and no one's open. But adjusted completion percentage, a lot of the scouts and all that, like a lot of the analytics guys are going to that. And he was pretty good. But I just don't know what to do with that. I mean, I don't know how to feel about JJ. I don't know. I know like Jake's not high on any of these quarterbacks really besides Daniels.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, with JJ's film, we truly haven't seen JJ get in a situation where the ball's in his hand and he has to win the game for him. I mean, Michigan's defense was literally probably one of the best defenses in college football.
Well,
and
one of the funniest part of this whole entire offseason is Jim Harbaugh just sitting there and he's just like, yeah, JJ McCarthy's the best quarterback in the entire draft. He only threw 9 passes in a game this year. Like, this is your quarterback. You're saying he's the best, but you didn't utilize him. You didn't utilize him for any of his skills. But he doesn't need a quarterback, so he can say whatever the hell he wants to.
Well, I mean, since we're talking JJ and all that, like, and that opens the door. I mean, we've mentioned Minnesota, New England. We mentioned Arizona, maybe Los Angeles. And it's not just quarterbacks that you're going to be traded for. Like, last year we had 6 trade spots. Where do you guys see potential like guys being traded for? I mean, I see right now like around 4 areas. I think we can get two in the top 10. I know Doc was talking about it. I think we can get the Bears getting traded back with the 9th pick. I think anywhere from Atlanta, I think Atlanta and Chicago can trade back. And then I think anywhere from New England down to even New York can trade down. And then I think in the middle of the first round, if someone wants a Brian Thomas, which is the second receiver for LSU, maybe to jump Jacksonville, someone can go there, and then maybe a Michael Penix in the back end, or Bo Nix if he falls. I think we can get around 4 trades. I know last year was a lot, but I think over-under should be 4.5, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, the Vikings, I think, are going to trade with the Cardinals, trade back. Cardinals are going to get some more draft capital there. I can see the Patriots, like Alan said, they're going to take those full 10 minutes. I think they're going to be fielding. I mean, we could definitely see, because it's definitely offensive heavy, like we said, and a lot of the bottom teams don't really need offensive weapons at this moment.
I mean, there's a couple guys. I mean, that's where there's like the receivers, like, you know, a Keon Coleman or like a Brian Thomas could maybe fall there, or a Donnie Mitchell, even Xavier Worthy, guys like that. Those are the guys you might see. I think in the middle round to like the early 20s is where we're going to see the corners go off the board. That's where we see those guys at. We might see a couple defenders in the first 10 picks with Atlanta and Chicago, but I just think that there's still going to be some trades just because you want to see it. I mean, you want to see you want to reach up. You don't just want to sit there and wait. So I just think we're going to get a couple. I think we get a couple in the top 10. I honestly do.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that you're going to see a lot of movement in the top 10. I think that if the Giants end up with their pick and their wide receiver's not there, I think they go Malik Neighbors. I think he's that offensive weapon that they're going to go after. And I know we're not doing our mock draft right now, but I feel like they're really going to do they're not going to make too many moves in that top 10. I think Vikings moving up is the best. I think that's really true, Chris. But I don't see any of these other teams moving out. You got the Falcons at 8. I still think that they're probably going to take the first defensive player. I really feel like there's not going to be a lot of movement there. It's going to be in those later rounds. Look out for maybe like Brock Bowers to the Jets, though. Like that. I've
been saying that. Yeah, I've been saying that. It just fits. I mean, it screams because they reached on these old offensive linemen. Now it's like, okay, now let's go get the pretty shiny little toy there with Brock Bowers, which would be fun to watch with Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. But I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like they need a guy that can go across the middle. Mike Williams is not always going to be healthy. That's just unfortunate, especially with him being on that field. So that field's going to be ugly for that team. But I think Brock Bowers there would be nice. I don't know. Maybe the Cardinals do move out. Maybe the Cardinals move out and don't take that pick. But I can definitely see the Chargers and the Cardinals moving out. Those are two draft picks right there that get traded. But other than that, I really don't see very many trades in the first round.
And shout out to you, Alan Croder. We see your comment. We respect you. The listener's load was actually dedicated to you. You were the other Alan. I know, like you said, big shoes to fill. This Alan does have big shoes to fill. You are the OG Alan of the All About the Boss podcast. And Jake Haener, dude, he's moving up. He's the second quarterback right now on the same step chart. So he's making progress. He went from 3rd string, 4th string last year to 2nd string this year. And, it's only big things to climb. Maybe he's learned behind Derek Carr. Maybe in 3 years from now, he'll be the starter from the Saints. But we don't expect him to be touching that football anytime soon unless Derek Carr goes down with injuries. Sorry about it, man. It's just the way it goes. But, no, we want to give you the shout-out. You're the reason why we have the listeners load, my friend. But, yeah, I mean, back to it, though. I mean, I really think that me and Jake could be onto something, Alan, with the New England Patriots. I really do. I don't like Nick Wright that much. I really don't. There are times he says some things that actually sound good. And last week, I thought it was Thursday or Friday, he said something that actually it made some sense. Next year, at the moment, you have $200 million in cap space. Why not trade down? Why not get the best offensive tackle at 11? Go get the best receiver at 23. You're the only team with that much money, over 115 million and plus, that needs a quarterback, because that's not that wouldn't draft a quarterback this year because all the other teams will have one or draft one. Why not just go get Dak Prescott? I'm not saying he's going to win the Super Bowl, but he's an established quarterback. Go get him. You have $200 million next year. Even if you sign him to $60 million, it's not going to do anything to your cap space. You get the best offensive tackle at 11. You probably get the second or third best one right there, and you'll get maybe a Brian Thomas, a Donnie Mitchell, whoever. Maybe even trade up from 23. Go get Brian Thomas in the middle of the round, and you still now have Brian Thomas, a good receiver, Dak Prescott next year, and then the best tackle this year at number 11, whoever that's going to be. I think that's a good option for the Patriots. I know you want Jane Daniels, but
yeah, no, I mean, I think with Dak Prescott being the option, like, and when I heard that news last week, my mindset kind of shifted there too, because at the end of the day, I'm a Dak guy, and like I feel like
still a Dak guy. I thought you said you gave up on him.
I mean, I gave him on him in fantasy. Okay, on fantasy, but no, I think that I think Dak is a guy that in the right place and with the right coaches. We don't know what Jared Mayo is going to be, but I do think that take this year, get as much talent as possible. I still don't agree with trading the pick. I don't agree with trading out of the pick. I think if you want to be different as a regime, as a new ownership group, not new ownership group, but new, operations group. If you want to be different, go out and get us a top tier wide receiver. We have not had that. We have never drafted it. We've never went out and tried to go and get a guy like that since Randy Moss. We've always punted on it, and that was a Bill Belichick thing, right? But now this is our opportunity to go out and get three guys. There's three wide receivers on the board that I still think are worth drafting at that point. Maybe you move back. Maybe somebody comes up in its agreement to move back to like 7, right? And you take Rome Odunze, right? I'm okay with that. You get maybe draft capital next year, but the Patriots still have a lot of draft picks this year too. I think we're going to be fine. We don't have to draft 3 picks in the first round just to have good talent added to the team. Go and get the best offensive weapon on the board. And I think really, if it came down to it, I think I would go with Malik Neighbors, man.
But my thing though, and I like that. My thing though, Chris and Alan, is if receivers so deep this year, and Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors are obviously they're the top 2, and Duze's he's made a case for himself. I'm not gonna say he hasn't. Why can't you go get a Brian Thomas and the 20? You move up from 23. You'll still have two first rounders this year, 2 first rounders next year, and then you get your quarterback Dak Prescott, and then I get it. The old regime traded back because you were so good and you were late in there, but now you're rebuilding. You want to get draft capital for the next couple of years because you're not playing for 2024. You're playing for 2025 and 2026. So you want to get as many picks as you can with the money you have, and then you get a guy like Dak Prescott or something. No, like that.
But we have to make the team appealing. It's going to be free agency, so we're gonna even if we want to sit here and gamble on free agency next year, we have to have weapons that'll make him want to come to the team. And if we got guys, if we're trotting out there with the Brandon Lloyds from Tom Brady's yesteryears, we're not going to be playing. We're not going to be getting no quarterback to come over to the team. It's just
you'd be getting the second best offensive tackle, maybe third, and then maybe the 4th best receiver, who is arguably.
But that's the thing is that you don't know that about that guy. We know at least the top 3 guys are going to be studs. But
we don't know. We don't know that neither. I mean, there's first round busts all over the board. That's how it works.
All over the board. You're right. But what I'm saying is that all of these years that everybody's like, oh, this is a deep quarterback draft. Oh, this is a deep wide receiver draft. How many times have those years turned out to be duds? I mean, it's all a gamble when you're talking about that. So at least go out and get a wide receiver that can be a game changer for your team at this point. You're not going to draft a running back. Running back is super weak. You're probably going to get one in maybe like the 3rd, maybe 4th round. I'm not sold on Stevenson for the future. But the rest of the options, I still believe in our ability to coach up offensive tackles and to coach up offensive line. We've done that over a long span of years, and it was not Bill Belichick that was doing it. It was a part of the coaching staff that was there before Bill Belichick even got there, and he stayed on with the Patriots. And I think that we can still hold on to that and draft offensive linemen in the middle rounds because again we have a lot of draft picks. Why can't I just go? Why can't we go get offensive tackle later in the draft, right? And later in the first round, there's offensive linemen throughout this entire thing. So I think you got to go make a splash, be different, and get that guy. I actually think Malik Neighbors is the guy that we should get. I think Odunze is the guy that could be the biggest, like, boom. He's the biggest boom. He could be the guy that could be the complete game breaker.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I definitely have a sneaky little thing that could possibly happen, and that's I truthfully don't think the Giants are sold with Danny Dimes. I think they're in trouble with Danny Dimes, and I think next year's draft class is not loaded with quarterback talent. I mean, you have Sanders, you have Carson Beck, and then you probably have a few guys that flash this year that are high up on the board, like JJ showed. But I think the Giants could potentially offer the Patriots a pick to move up to that third pick, draft May, and then that will leave the Patriots that option to either draft Marvin or Neighbors.
I mean, I love that. I love that option right there. I mean, you're only moving back 3 spots, but you're getting more draft capital. I love that.
I mean, yeah, I mean that could be an option. I guess that goes under the wild predictions ticker over here because that's a wild one right there. You know, I think that the Giants to me are they are a wild card team, or when it comes to this draft because they overpaid Danny. Saquon leaves. Still need receivers. They did invest in the offensive lineman over the draft. So what do? I mean, they're not sitting pretty. They did trade for Brian Burns, so they lost one of the second round picks. They had 2, so it's not the worst end of the situation, end of the world there. But I could see the Giants. I could see the Giants maybe even trading up with the Cardinals if the Vikings trade up with the Patriots. I mean, it's just, and that's like I said, that we're going to get 2 in the top 10. I think we are going to get two trades in the top 10. That'd be a good scenario for the Patriots because you're probably going to get at least 1 first rounder. You probably get next year's first rounder from the Giants because moving 6 to 3, it's not that big of a jump. But I don't know, man. I really don't know there.
I thought Doc was it Doc that mentioned that the Giants are going to draft a quarterback, and we all thought he was crazy in the beginning. But like sitting back and thinking about it now, like that's not really a crazy thought.
He had them going JJ in our roundtable mock draft.
Yeah, we saw Danny Dimes last year. He's not the answer. They overpaid him, and like I said before, I don't think next year's quarterback draft class is anything crazy. Not like this year.
It reminds me of
this year.
It reminds me of like a little bit of 2021 or a little bit of 2022 and 2020, whichever year Pickett, and then we're like, where you thought Pickett was going to be maybe like a decent name, and then you had Malik Willis, and then even 2022, or was it? I'm sorry, last year when it was, you had the big 3 in the first round, and then you had Will Levis in the 4th round, but we don't know what Levis and AR are going to be, and even Bryce Young, but that's what it kind of has that feel to. It's kind of a mixture of 2022 and 2023 draft class. Sorry.
Yeah.
2021 was not Pickett. So 2022 and 2023 is what next year reminds me. Because you have Cameron Ward there, Miami's new quarterback. People say Quinn Ewers. I love Quinn. But he gets hurt throughout the year. Is he really a guy that you're gonna build a team around? I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Ewers is kind of in that Michael Penix and Bo Nix situation where, yeah, they're great college quarterbacks, but are they going to make it in the NFL?
And I love them. I mean, like I said, but Texas hasn't really had a good quarterback come out and either. I mean, yeah, Vince Young's been to the playoffs. I mean, but it was like a good year or two, and then Colt never had a real shot, and Elliger hasn't done anything. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of next year's class. And I guess with that being said, because this is going to tie along, I think some potential winners for this year that goes into next year. I know we've mentioned like Houston Texans like seasons in Discord. I'm telling you right now, I have two teams that can have not maybe win their division, but be good if they draft well because they have a lot of picks. And that is the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders. That is the second and fourth pick. Right now, they have a lot of picks. They both have 6 in their first top 3 rounds. The Commanders did spend a lot of money in free agency, so we'll see what those players do. But I think the Commanders can build and it maybe be a sneaky 9-win team this year. Not win the division. I don't think they're going to beat Dallas or Philly, but win the division. I think I can even see Arizona being a little sleeper of a team, maybe win like 6 games or so, getting ready for 2025 and then start making a name for themselves. I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan still, but I can see that well just because you have so many draft picks. And Arizona did play tough when Kyler Murray got back. It wasn't like they were getting blown out. They were playing pretty tough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was an advocate for the Cardinals when we were doing like our predictions last year, and y'all had them winning 0-2 games, and I was like, Kyler Murray.
I had one.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's coming back, and yeah, Kyler Murray's not a top tier quarterback, but he's good. He can pass the ball, he can move the ball, he can win games at least.
He's electric. He's electric.
Yeah, he can move. His little body can move. So I think with the draft capital that they have, they can definitely be this year's Houston Texans. Yeah, they're not going to win the division. The Niners have that. So, but they can easily secure a wild card.
Yeah, I think potential winners for next year, the one that I'm probably going to jump on is probably going to be the hot one for the summer. Everybody's going to be talking about it in the beginning of next year. But I think it's going to be the Chicago Bears. I think they're just loading up on talent on the offensive side. I think they're doing what you're supposed to do when you have that number 1 draft pick. I can't remember a team that is adding the talent at the skill level, at the skill player position for that number 1 quarterback. Like, I can't remember a team that's this stacked and has made these moves during this offseason to do that. And then I think they're handling the draft right. They can go out and get another wide receiver, maybe a tight end. We talked about that before, but I just feel like they're that team that they didn't lose anything really on their defense, and their offense is going to take a big step, I think. The only problem for me with them, I think, is probably the coach. Can he actually do it? Can we actually see him take that next step? But they're going to have no reason not to. They're going to have all of the talent. I think they're the potential winners from this offseason into next year and go from worst to first. And I think it's very possible they can win that division over the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I was telling
the Bears have to win this year. They have to. I mean, you're getting your franchise quarterback with Caleb Williams that we think. You have DJ Moore. You sign Keenan Allen, huge signing there for the wide receiver. You have 2 top 10 picks this year. If the Bears don't win this year, they're just cursed. They're not winning anything.
Well, I think that for them right now, and I'm sorry to cut you off there, Mark, but I don't think they have to win right now. I think you're leasing this year to Eberflus to see if he can actually be a successful coach. And then if he can't put this with this talent and all the guys that you're adding, like you said, 2 top 10 picks, you've got all of these talents that you've added on the offensive side. You brought in Swift, you brought in Allen. And if he can't get over that hump and win, then you move off of him and you've got to go with a young guy. You got to go with a young offensive coordinator. That's just my opinion.
When I say win, they don't have to win the Super Bowl. They have to get to the playoffs. They have to get to the playoffs because call me crazy. I've told our buddy, like I said, Rizlov, and he calls me crazy. The NFC North is a tough division because Minnesota, if they just get a quarterback, they're not a bad team. Really, that's what their downfall was last year. They had no quarterback. Kirk Cousins got hurt after his eighth game of the season. It tore the team apart, obviously. The Packers, they were in the playoffs last year with Jordan Love, who was emerging in the second half. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the second half of the season last year. They have 2 picks in the second round and a pick, obviously, in the first round. And then you have the Lions, who are your reigning division champions. They were literally a few minutes away from going to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I think the Bears can win the division. Now I'm not going to trust a rookie quarterback to get me to the Super Bowl, but I would not be dumbfounded or shocked at all if the Bears won the division and they did go from worst to first. Now I'm not going to call it now because I want to see how the draft unfolds, and I want to see what Detroit does still too. I think Detroit's still a Super Bowl team potentially, but I would not be shocked if Chicago Bears ended up winning that division. And it's a tough division too. It's not a pushover division.
You mentioned the Commanders. Do you think the Commanders can go from
No.
worse last year? But do you
No,
think
no,
they can win that division though?
No. I said they won't win the division, but I can see them getting around 9 wins. I can see them maybe backdooring into the playoffs. And I get it. Houston won, and that's why we said a Houston-like the season. Houston wasn't a world. Yeah, they won 10 games, and that's phenomenal for what they were supposed to be. I did say they were going to be competitive losers. They were going to be in close games, just weren't going to win because they were too young. But yes, they won 10 games. They tied with the Colts and whatnot, and they got to the playoffs. That's great. I can see the Commanders, though, getting it because the NFC is weaker than the AFC, getting 9 wins and getting to the playoffs as a 7 seed. I can see that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The Commanders just have like they have a hard road because I mean you have the Eagles and you have Dallas in your division.
But you're playing last place division placeholders, though, so you do have that going for you a little bit.
You do, but I mean they're not going to win their division because of the road that they have to face. You know,
and Philly got better. I know we don't trust Jalen Hurts, but Philly did make a lot of moves. They got better. They honestly did.
Yeah, man. I'm so worried about their coaching. They're the team that showed you that coaching is a big freaking deal in the NFL. Like you have to have consistency. You have to have good guys coaching, and then you have talent all you want. But if you don't have coaching, you're just gonna fall flat.
Coaching and the offensive line.
Yeah, that's gonna be a concern.
That their offensive line took a big hit.
Saquon was talking about getting Kelsey to come back. I mean, on their Heights show. They were
Kelsey ain't coming back. He's about to sign that ESPN contract.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can see him coming back. I don't think he does. I wouldn't that would be another thing. I'm not shocked if Jason Kelsey comes out of retirement in week 9 or week 10. That wouldn't surprise me, honestly. I mean, you could tell he loves the game, but after what we saw him, his heartfelt, retirement. I don't know. I don't think he does, but I wouldn't be. Don't call me crazy if it happens.
Yeah. Does anybody think that the Panthers can do anything? Like,
no.
The Panthers are just so trash, and I'm just wondering, are they actually going to do things that are going to be good and make them a good team?
They have 2 early second-round picks. They did get Deontay Johnson. So, do they still go receiver with those 2 picks? One of those 2 picks?
They have to. They have to. You can't trust Adam Thielen to be your number 1. I know he's great, reliable.
Is he the one now? They got Deontay Johnson.
Oh my god, man!
I mean, is Deontay Johnson going to be a solid number 1?
I think they've made like all of the worst trades that over the last couple of years. Like they've made the worst trades in NFL history.
Well, what they could have got from Brian Burns is ridiculous. They could have got a couple first rounders for him, and they passed on that.
The greatest thing they did was fire the GM.
Oh yeah.
Well, the owner's an idiot. I mean, and he came on McAfee's show last week at the owners meeting, and you could tell he does not like the boys there. He does not like how they trash talk him. But he's an idiot. They're right. He's a fucking clown, dude. I'm not a Frank Wright fan, but there's no way that you force him to draft the quarterback that you want, not that he wants, because he wanted Stroud, and then you fire him in the middle of the season because he's Jerry Jones, but he's got no success.
He's a knockoff Jerry Jones.
At least Jerry Jones has got fucking success. I mean, at least we can understand why he's doing what he does. I mean, he does got 3 Super Bowl rings.
Wait, I would say this about Jerry Jones. He's the least likely to fire anybody. He's just going to keep riding it out.
What I'm saying is he acts like Jerry Jones is like he wants to put his hand in the pot and he wants to control everything like he's deserved. It's his team. You're the owner. But Jerry Jones at least got 3 Super Bowls to show for it. I mean, at least he.
Are the Cowboys going to flame out this year because Dak has already agreed he's going to move on?
Dallas is a weird one to me because they lost a lot of guys on defense too.
They did lose a lot of guys. I mean, I think Dak's going to ball out because he knows that it's the end. But I mean, he needs to show something that, hey,
Well, Dak's not
I
going to give
mean-
on the team. Like, he doesn't seem like that
No.
kind of guy. Like, you could tell I think he's going to try. Obviously, he wants that payday, but he also wants to win. I mean,
I think
Uh,
owners just need to stay out of the game. Just foot the bill. Clearly it's not working. I mean, yeah, Jerry Jones has 3 Super Bowl rings, but
it's been a long time. It's been 30
It's-
years.
1995.
Yep, we're going on
was
the
their last
30th.
Super Bowl.
Yep, this is the 30th season. So if they don't win this year, it's been 30 complete seasons without a Super Bowl win.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say yeah, he's been successful, but not recently.
No, I mean they've had 3 straight 12-5 seasons, and they've got out of the first round one time when they beat Tampa Bay. And that was Tom Brady's last game.
And that was Tampa's.
That was Tampa
mean,
struggling, like no offensive
yeah.
lineman. Tom Brady was obviously older. He was getting banged around. I mean, Godwin was just coming back from his injury, trying to, it wasn't 100%. You could tell he was still trying to learn how to do the cuts again and get comfortable. I mean, it wasn't a good, healthy Bucs team at all. But yeah, he can't beat the 49ers. Got blown out by the Packers, and that was no Aaron Rodgers. So there's no Aaron Rodgers excuse. You just can't beat Green Bay. Is what it sounds like to me, Dallas.
Jordan Love lit that fucking secondary up.
God. Yeah, I'm excited though, man. This draft, I want to hear it though. Like, I want to hear one wild, like straight wild prediction. Like right now, a little over 3 weeks away. Like, what is one just wild take that you can see happening? And the whole draft. Does that be the first round? Just the whole draft.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna buckle down again and say that Neighbors is going to be the first wide receiver off the board, and then also I think Giants are picking a quarterback.
It's pretty wild.
I have 10 offensive linemen going in the first round.
Damn.
I have almost a third of the first round being offensive linemen.
All right. I don't know if I can do anything about that. I don't know if I can outdo that
It's
one.
bold. No, it's bold. It's bold. I mean, I don't 100% believe it, but I mean, I'm looking at it like it's a heavy offensive lineman draft after the quarterbacks and receivers.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm gonna say kind of a crazy one. I think that I think the Chiefs move up and take Xavier Worthy before somebody like the Eagles or somebody else can pick him up.
Yeah, the Eagles, man. After they got Chris Carter Johnson, whatever. They're not in the market for a corner necessarily, and now you could go get a third receiver to pair with Devontae and AJ Brown. And
Yeah,
I mean, do you think that if the Chiefs sign Tyler Boyd that they go wide receiver first round?
I still think that they do. Only because it's better for the NFL. It's better for the team. Like, they're probably going to do the safe thing and maybe go cornerback or something like that because they just lost Snead. But I think that they've already got guys that can move around and fill those needs at the cornerback position, and their defense isn't built on one cornerback. And I think that they can move up and get a wide receiver to really take the top off of it. Rashid Rice is not that guy that's going to take the defense. He's not going to take the top off the defense, right?
he's middle tier.
No, he's going to hit 6 people and move on,
Yeah, no, he's going to go 100 miles per hour. He's pretty quick there. He takes the top off vehicles.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It was his vehicle.
No.
We don't know if it was him behind the wheel. It was his lead Lamborghini.
No video evidence of him getting out of the vehicle, all right? But I feel like if they could get a guy who could really – another one that is kind of crazy, if Brock Bowers drops, maybe they go out and they trade a
Bengals.
No way.
Bengals will take if he even gets near the Bengals. Yeah, there's no way they're trading that far up. Now Buffalo could be in the market for Xavier Worthy or a guy like that too. They're a team that needs receiver. And how many receivers do you think we get? I mean, how many receivers do you think we get? I'm thinking at least 7 or 8 potentially too. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying 7 or 8 fucking receivers potentially, at least 7 or 8 offensive linemen, and probably 5 quarterbacks. Like that right there that's 19.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least 19 to 20 probably offensive players.
I'm thinking it's probably going to be in – I think I'll settle at 6 wide receivers. That's kind of low, but I still think that there's so many other talented positions out there. Cornerback, defensive lineman. So you also have to remember is when there's not deep drafts, there's teams that are going to go and get the guys that are stand out. And I think obviously like the Rams, they've got to take a defensive interior guy. I think they probably go Byron Murphy because they have to get somebody to replace.
Love me some Brian Murphy,
Yeah.
man.
We could see. I think we could see seven wide receivers.
I mean, you at least have your top three. We already mentioned those three.
Yeah,
Brian Thomas.
You're gonna have Brian Thomas. You're probably gonna have
Keen Coleman. He's a wild card.
No, I think Keenan Coleman's a wild card. I think we're definitely going to see Xavier Worthy.
Mitchell. Donnie Mitchell.
I think Mitchell and Keon Coleman are my ifs. I think those might drop to the top second round.
And Leggett, by the way, I don't know I know you know him, Chris, because you're an SEC boy. But Alan, Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina is a fucking dog, and he's climbing boards. You might not be first rounder, but second rounder. That's a guy I would love for the Falcons. If we don't go receiver first round, go get Leggett with our second round pick.
Yeah.
You also have McConkey out of Georgia climbing boards.
He's just sleeping for the Chiefs. I've seen some people think he can go to the Chiefs.
Yeah. I feel like the Chiefs are going to be aggressive. Like they are going to really fight for 3. They want 3. And I think they're going to do more than what they need to do, and that's going to help.
Does the Chiefs
3 if you have Kelsey though?
No. I mean, they want to go for 3 championships in a row. They want to go for the
I thought you were talking about like 3 top wide receivers.
No. They want to go for that 3-peat, and they're just going to be aggressive doing it.
The NFL will write it for them.
Alan, you were talking about potentially the Chiefs going Brock Bowers. Now, this is not to be biased and to toot my college's horn, but if Ja'Tavion Sanders is there around like the last pick of the second round, maybe they trade up for he's an athletic freak tight end. We didn't use him to his full potential in Texas, but he's supposed to be tight end number 2, potential second round, maybe early third round. Do you maybe go after him to let him groom underneath Travis Kelce?
Yeah, I just think that they have to make some sort of, future planning at that position because he's not going to be around forever. I think this year's probably his last. They're all coming back for that 3-peat. If they don't make it, they probably retire. And they being, I think Andy Reid and Kelce.
I think Andy Reid stays as long as Mahomes is there. Truthfully.
Man, yeah. I mean, how old is Belichick? He's like 70, 72 or something like that.
Yeah, but the only thing you risk about that is like you're gonna have your coordinators wanting to leave because they want to step up. Like Steve definitely deserves a head coaching job.
I think he's fine though. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to take one.
You don't think these guys want head coaching jobs?
I think with what he did with the Rams and he struggled, I don't think he wants the stress. I think he's comfortable being an assistant and winning Super Bowls. He's already got 3. He's already got 4 rings now as an assistant coach.
Yeah. And again, what is he going to do as a head coach that's going to change his already good legacy that he's already built?
And speaking of the Chiefs, I was saying today, I feel so fucking bad for Patrick Mahomes because it's year after year he's got to deal with some fucking stupidity on someone's behalf around him. For a couple of years, it was his wife and his brother. You could tell he was getting irritated. His dad got arrested right before the Super Bowl for driving under the influence. And now I'm not saying Rice did anything. I'm not saying he was the one driving the vehicle, but now you have at least an image right now going on with him being, doing something stupid. And it's just like Mahomes is like, can we just fucking play football and just goddamn, can we just not have any distractions one season? I can't name a superstar quarterback that's had this much negativity around him. Not his fault neither. Not his fault.
Tom Brady played with Randy Moss and Antonio Brown at points in his career. But Antonio Brown like dashed out of the fucking stadium, threw his uniform off.
That was the end of Brady's career, and that was literally a one-time situation. It wasn't AB after that was done, and then Randy Moss wasn't really drama with the Patriots.
No, he wasn't. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, there's
Just
been
this
a
guy
lot of
catch
wide
him.
receivers out there. Listen, that's the problem with having a team win in Kansas City, because now everybody they're feeling the joys of winning and they want to go party, but there's not shit to do in Kansas City. I don't know if you guys ever been there. There's nothing.
Well,
right?
if you watch the draft watch along on Pat McAfee show last year, Mad Mel Kiper was at Bazookas. It's apparently the best titty bar in the Midwest, potentially United States. So it is something to do out there.
In the Midwest, that's not a big standard. All right, the Midwest isn't a big standard.
At least Patrick Mahomes hasn't had to deal with like a murderer, you know? You have Aaron Hernandez with Tom Brady, you know? That's a big one.
Oh, yeah, that actually is.
Okay, I'll give him that one.
That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, like a serial killer, you know?
Yeah.
But once he was in jail, it was done. It wasn't an every year thing, though. It seems like it's every year for Patrick Mahomes. Every year, since the first Super Bowl they've won, it's been like an ongoing thing. It's not like it happens here and then 5 years later something else pops up. It's literally year after year something comes up.
This is the first one that I think is with like the team, though. Usually,
it's just the other one's family members.
Yeah.
Well, and then he also, he had to deal with everyone fucking coming at Travis Kelce. You know, he was definitely feeling that with Travis Kelce's shine with Taylor Swift. Don't sit there and shake your head. He was definitely feeling that because they were asking about Taylor and Travis, and he's just like, I'm just playing football.
He did not want to hear that, though. The entire team dealt with that. That's not
but which guy's being asked in front of the media about Taylor Swift? It's not Lanier Sneed or
every member of their team was asked about Taylor Swift.
Not like Patrick Mahomes, though. They were asking constantly over and over, like, how she looked, because no one else is going to hang out with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Let's be real. It's either Mahomes or Mahomes is the only one that's going to hang out with Kelce, probably. When it comes to it, they're the best friends.
Kelce's not a team guy?
He is, but who do you see like doing like the celebrity golf matches with? Who do you see them going out with? It's usually Kelce and Mahomes.
I guess, man. I just kind of look at that. I don't feel that like that's like a big controversy. Yeah, it was maybe a couple extra questions, but quarterbacks deal with that. I mean, if you want to talk about that, think about what Dak Prescott as a Dallas Cowboys quarterback, because the Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks get put under all of the most crazy questions all the time. They all date porn stars or supermodels, and they all have all these crazy questions and all this stuff that they have going on. I think Dak is the only one that I don't know who he's dating, and he still get asked a million questions. He's got all this pressure on him just because he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
Oh, it's because he's got pressure because he can't win either when it matters. That's also a situation. He just can't win.
Yeah, I mean, where's the pressure for Justin Herbert? Where's the pressure for?
I give him pressure. I give Herbert pressure all the time. I've asked Chris all year. I said how inconsistent he is in the fourth quarter. He's not clutch. He doesn't have a clutch gene in his goddamn body. He hasn't shown that to me yet.
I think Herbert's starting to feel it. I mean, Fields felt the pressure. That's why he's second on the depth chart with the Steelers. So,
But before we say anything, before we sign off, boys, if you're watching still, or if you're listening, the NFL Draft Watch Along, that's our watch along. We're just going to be here bullshitting, having some drinks, having some snacks, having some foods, just literally critiquing every little thing that happens, every single pick that goes across that TV screen, everything that we see. We're going to sit here and judge it. We're going to give our opinions on it, our takes. We're going to have fun, too. We want you guys to be out there, interact with us. We want to be able to experience that with you guys, ask questions, dare us to do some shit on there. You never know. Allen's got a pretty space behind him. Get him to do some shit. Push-ups for stars.
Little whiteboard empty too.
Yeah, he's deploying some
pictures.
Push-ups for stars. How many stars you dedicate, he'll do those push-ups throughout the night. You know, we'll get him ready for his deployment.
And Mark, you didn't mention we're gonna have the true insider. Okay, Jake's gonna be breaking the picks before TV even shows it.
Yes,
he will be. He'll be doing it. He'll be on Twitter. Like I said, like the ticker says, Twitter and Instagram at the Sack House, All About the Balls podcast. He'll be literally breaking everything down there and breaking it down in here as well.
Before messaging Phil Gates.
Yeah, that's Jake's or that's Allen's insider, boys. And then Luke, if you want hockey and baseball takes, Luke's your man too, and Allen as well. I mean, these are the baseball and hockey guys on the show. Found out today. Luke's a hockey guy.
Yeah. Hey, hockey's the real deal. All right. Shout out to Calgary Flames. All right.
I'm still waiting for our cricket episode.
Shit.
I was told we need to do a golf episode, to be honest.
Okay.
Masters is coming up next. Hey, Masters is next week. That is an exciting tournament. It's
When can I
literally
start betting on Tiger Woods' son?
Does Tiger Woods
Well,
still play?
his son has to make the
As much-
tournament. His son played pretty, but Tiger will be playing in the Masters. It looks like they advertised him
Oh,
on the
yeah.
website.
Nice.
Now, does he finish the 4 rounds? Does he make the cut? We don't know yet.
Yeah. Let's
You'll
go
find out on
Marlins.
next episode of.
No, tomorrow we're going to do a recording, not live recording. Myself and Alan and Jake will be back in here with a basketball episode. We have some stuff talking about. It's literally going to be, well, the headline is who can dethrone the Denver Nuggets, your reigning NBA champions. So that's going to be the main talk. It's playoff time coming up very shortly. I think we're like 7 or 8 games away for some teams. Baseball Thursday with myself and Jake, and Sunday me and Jake will be on there for baseball as well.
Whiteboard's coming out.
Little teaser for you for tomorrow.
Whiteboard.
What's he got? He's got his little marker out.
Look at those
Blake,
flip flops in the house.
He is wearing flip flops in his house.
Hell yeah, brother.
He must not like touching the carpet. It's lava.
Lakers in 6, baby.
So is that Lakers in 6 in the first round, and then
Lakers in 6.
So every single round, Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6.
Well, we're gonna be talking basketball tomorrow. We're gonna be talking. There's a couple sleeper teams that I want to talk about. One's the Orlando Magic, Chris. That's our little neck of the woods back where we grew up in. A little 407 action. The Magic are young. They're hot right now. We're gonna talk about them in the Eastern Conference. We'll talk about the Lakers probably. Nuggets, Timberwolves, obviously the Nuggets, Celtics, the Bucks. There's some teams out there that can to knock off Denver if they get to the finals and before they get to the finals too, Alan. So can't wait to be here tomorrow with you and Jake as we finally get back to the hard court.
Hell yeah, me too.
And then baseball, myself and Jake will be here Thursday. The New York Yankees are 5-0, and we're going for 6-0 tonight as we play the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we are hot at the moment, boys. The Yankees are coming. Chris lost some money over the weekend, so good job, New York.
I love this time. I can just throw $1 bets on like one game or all the games from every sport. I just $1 bet, and maybe I'll become a millionaire. Who knows?
Maybe.
You never know. But thank you for joining us. Whoever was out there supporting us, thank you guys. Thank you for listening on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart when we posted it here. I'm Mark Davis. That's Chris Meinhardt. That's Alan Tomasello. Shout out to Doc and Jake and Luke Rule. This is All About the Balls podcast, and we are out.